Now we are going to understand information engineering notation. So we will look at a very simple entity relationship diagram and learn the IE notation. Look at this diagram. This is a very simple diagram. We have two entities and a line between them that indicates a relationship. And we do not have attributes in this diagram because it is not very important here. What is the relationship between employee and department? It can be anything. Here it is employee working in department. We are going to add additional symbols and discuss the meaning. So here we have an additional symbol. So how can we read this entity relationship diagram? If we read this diagram from left to right, we can read it: each employee must be working in one department. If I read it from right to left, I can read each department must have one employee working. See, each employee must be working in one department. This particular symbol indicates 1, that is the cardinality or multiplicity. Each department must have one employee working. So this 1 is mentioned on the other side. So that's the multiplicity from department to employee. See, in this diagram we have a small change here. How can we read this entity relationship diagram? From left to right, each employee must be working in one department. When we read it from right to left, each department may have one employee working. So here this has become 0 or 1. So each department has 0 or 1 employee working. Let's see one more additional symbol. Now how can we read that? From left to right there is no change. Each employee must be working in one department. And if we read this diagram from right to left, so it's going to be each department can have one or more employee working. So this is a crowfoot symbol, indicates many or more. Now see, there is a small change here. If I read this from left to right, each employee must be working in one department. There is no change. If I read this from right to left, each department can have 0, 1 or more employee working. The meaning of these symbols are basically we need minimum cardinality and maximum cardinality mentioned. Here minimum cardinality is 0 and maximum cardinality is more. So this 1 in the middle is optional, it is not mandatory. See, in this diagram we have an additional symbol added here. How can we read this? From left to right, each employee may be working in one department, because here minimum cardinality is 0 and maximum cardinality is 1. So it can be 0 or 1 department. Each employee may be working in one department. From right to left, it is going to be same. Each department can have 0, 1 or more employee working. This is a many-to-many relationship. It means that each employee may be working in many departments and each department may have many employees working. So in summary, if we have this 0 and 1 symbol on one side, it means that this is the minimum cardinality and this is the maximum cardinality. When we draw only 1, it means that minimum cardinality and maximum cardinality is 1. So in that case, if we try to read this particular entity relationship diagram, it says that each parent may have one child, because this is may have one, or you can say each parent has 0 or 1 child. When we read from child to parent, we'll say that each child must have one parent. So minimum cardinality and maximum cardinality both are same, it is 1. Similarly, if you look at different notations, here we have information engineering notation. We were talking about minimum cardinality and maximum cardinality, 0, 1 and Crawford symbols been used. And then similar way, if you look at the Parker notation, there will be small differences. Instead of using 0 and 1, it used the dashed line and solid line. And then if you look at IDEF1X notation, you can find it use a slightly different type of symbols to represent the cardinality. And same way, if you look at the UML, you will find exact numbers are used instead of more or many, or instead of Crawford star is used in UML. So in each notation you can find certain symbols that will help us to describe the cardinality between two associated entity types. Thank you.